Hello and welcome into this week's ARCA Menard Series preview show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, consider going down below to hit that subscribe button and ringing the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. On today's ARCA preview show, we are looking ahead to today's ARCA Pensacola 200 from here at Five Flags Speedway. I know I say from here at Five Flags Speedway, and it looks like I'm not in Pensacola because I'm on the normal RNN set, but we have pre-recorded this just a bit. We are in Pensacola today, and we are prepared to give you plenty of coverage today from Five Flags Speedway. So keep an eye out for that coming up here in just a little bit after this premieres. But on today's ARCA preview show, we are going to look at where we are right now in the season. So we're going to take a quick look at the ARCA point standings as of right now. I know we're one race into the season, but it has been a while since we ran that race at Daytona, so just quickly catch you up on what happened there. We're going to look at a brief history of the ARCA Menard Series at Five Flags Speedway, since this is the first race ARCA has run at Five Flags in a long time. We don't have a race from last year to look at, and since it's a one-day show, we don't have practice and qualifying to look at to see who's already fast today, because we just wouldn't have time to do it after qualifying and still get it up before the race today. So we're going to give you a brief history on the ARCA Menard Series here at Five Flags Speedway, since it has been a few years since they have been here. We're going to look at today's entry list to show you who is here and who you'll see competing later today for the ARCA Pensacola 200. We're going to pick a winner for tonight's race, and we're going to give you the entire schedule for the day today so you know exactly when things are happening from Five Flags Speedway. All right, so let's quickly take a look at the point standings right now as we are headed into the second race of the season. Harrison Burton, of course, leads the points after winning the Lucas Oil 200 from Daytona, but again, he is not running the full schedule this season, only running 5 races, not here at Five Flags today, so he will relinquish that points lead unless Christian Eckes and Travis Braden have very bad days today, as they are the only 2 drivers there in the top 10 running a full schedule. So right now, I guess we could kind of call that our pseudo full season points, as Christian Eckes currently leads out of the drivers that are running a full season. And then you've got Travis Braden 30 points behind him. So technically, if we're looking at drivers running the full season, Christian Eckes leads, Travis Braden is second. All right, now we'll take a look at the history of the ARCA Menard Series here at Five Flags Speedway. They've run 5 races previous here at this track between 1992 and 1996. First one in 92 was won by Roy Payne. It was the second race of the 1992 season. Same weekend as this race is running, the second weekend of March. It was March 8th, 1992. 93, they ran it in the same weekend, and it also was the second race, and it got bumped back to the first weekend of May in 94, where it stayed for its remainder of the tenure on the ARCA schedule. It was the third race of the year in 94, got bumped back to the fourth race of the year in 95, same weekend though, also the same weekend in 96, but again got bumped back to the fifth race of the season in 1996 before being dropped from the schedule completely until this year in 2019. Notable names having won this race, we see Gary Bradbury here in 1994. His only full season in the ARCA Menard Series, one of 3 races he won that season. Won this race actually from the pole in 94 and ended up 3rd in points there in 94 on the back of those 3 wins. And then, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Frank Kimmel, 80 wins in the ARCA Menard Series, 10 championships. One of those 80 wins coming in the last time the ARCA Menard Series ran here at Five Flags Speedway, and Frank Kimmel took the checkered flag in 1996. All right, so that is your brief history of the ARCA Menard Series at Five Flags Speedway. So let's take a look at today's entry list so we can see who will be in today's race. Now, of course, as usual, we have, looks like 3 cars here from Fast Track Racing in this race. The 1 for Dick Doheny, the 10 for Tommy Vi Jr., and then as of the time of this recording, we do not have a driver announced for that 11 car. I'm assuming by the time this gets put out that we will know who is in that 11 car. So if we do, it will be down in the description in case you are curious who is going to be in that 11 car today. Now, there's a name here in the 06 car for Wayne Peterson Racing that you might recognize, but it is not the late Tim Richmond, who I'm sure all know from his NASCAR Cup Series fame. It is very cool to see the name Tim Richmond show up on an entry list for a stock car race nonetheless, so I thought that was really cool. Now, here in the 14 car, this is also an interesting name, Connor Okrezik. It may not be a name that you are familiar with yet, but it could be one that you become familiar with here very quickly. Okrezik won the Speedfest 200 this year from Cordele, Georgia, beating out Kyle Busch in the ARCA CRA Super Series race there in Cordele. So very big deal here. Connor Okrezik outdueling the likes of Kyle Busch, and this sounds very similar to a current NASCAR Cup Series star and how he got his start, Eric Jones, who beat out Kyle Busch in the Snowball Derby, coincidentally here at Five Flags Speedway. So, is it possible Connor Okrezik is the next Eric Jones? Time will tell, but either way, he is making his first ARCA Menard Series start here at Five Flags Speedway today, and it will be very cool to see what he is able to do, not only today, but going forward into the future. Venturini Motorsports, of course, bringing their normal 3 entries today, the 15 for Christian Eckes and the 25 for Michael Self, who are, of course, both running full schedules this year, and then Chandler Smith, of course, in the 20 car, as he is running every short track race this season in that 20 car. Ty Gibbs making his first series start in the 18 car for Joe Gibbs Racing. I believe he is running every short track race in that car as well. Rafael Lessard in the 19 car this week. He is in a second KBR development car this week for the Canadian. And Sam Meyer making his first start of the season in the 21 car for GMS Racing. Corey Heim, of course, making his first series start here in the Chad Bryant Racing number 22 car. He'll be in that car for every short track race this season, as well as the 2 dirt races. Then we got a couple full-timers down here. Brett Holmes in the 23 car, and then, of course, Travis Braden in the 27. Carson Hocevar running every short track race this year as well. His first race of the season there in that 28 car for KBR Development. Caden Honeycutt, the first time we've seen him this season. We saw him once last season in an Empire Racing car at Salem. He is bringing a family-owned car, number 38 this week. Brad Smith in his usual number 48 car. Tanner Gray making his first series start this week for DGR Crosley in the 54. That is a name you might be familiar with. If you are familiar with the straight line world, the NHRA, he has had quite a bit of success on that side of the motorsports world, now shifting his focus to stock car racing. We saw him make his first K&N East start at New Smyrna a couple weeks ago and run very well there. So I am excited to see what Tanner Gray can do today here from Five Flags. Darrell Basham will be in the 69 for Kimmel Racing today, and Joe Graff Jr. Will be in the 77 car, of course, for Chad Bryant Racing as he is running the full schedule. Now, Vision Motorsports had originally announced that they would be here today with their 35 car for Brendan Queen. They are not on the entry list as of the time of this recording, so not sure if things have changed there. I haven't heard anything from the team either way as to whether they will be here today or not. If it changes and they are here, they will be down in the description, as well as anyone else that might be a late entry to the entry list that is not here at the time of recording will, of course, be down in the description if you are curious if there are any additions to this entry list for today. Alright, so now it is time to predict a winner for today's ARCA Pensacola 200. If you're watching this as a premiere, let us know down in the live chat who is going to win today's race. Let us know who your prediction for today is. If you're watching this a little later, let us know down in the comments who is your prediction for today's winner. As for my prediction for today, he was very fast in every short track race last year. Won a very good number of them last year. I don't see that changing at all this year. I think Chandler Smith goes to victory lane today in his first start of the season and starts what is going to be an incredible 2019 season for that 16-year-old. Chandler Smith wins the ARCA Pensacola 200. Like I said, if you're watching this as a premiere, let us know down in the live chat. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Who do you think is going to win today? And then if you're watching this a little later, same thing down in the comments. All right, so last thing we're going to look at today is your schedule for today, your tune-in info. The only thing, of course, being televised is the race. But keep an eye on our Twitter at RNN_all_access, and that will give you all of your updates today for practice, qualifying, anything you might want today. And then, of course, we're doing lap-by-lap info during the race if you can't watch the race on TV as well. Practice, though, will be noon to 1:30 local time for the track. That is Central Time, so adjust that accordingly if you are not in the Central Time Zone. General Tire Pole qualifying will be at 3:30 this afternoon, local time. And then, of course, the race will be 7 p.m. tonight, Central, live on MAV TV. So if you don't get MAV TV or their streaming service, Lucas Oil Racing TV, definitely keep an eye on our Twitter, and we will keep you updated throughout the race as to what is going on. And I don't want it to make it sound like I'm discouraging you from watching the TV broadcast. If you have MAV TV or the streaming service, definitely watch it on TV, but definitely do keep an eye on our Twitter as well during the races. We will keep you updated, and it'll just be a little added bonus to your TV coverage if you are watching it on TV. But I believe that will do it for us on this preview show. Definitely keep an eye here on the channel throughout the rest of the day, as we will have our typical coverage here from Pensacola. Lots of interviews going up today, probably mostly between practice and qualifying. That's generally when we try to do all of those. Might be a few go up between qualifying and the race, just see how the day shakes out, but definitely look for some there in that 1:30 to 3:30 time slot between practice and qualifying. That's when probably a lot of those interviews will go up, and we'll give you an idea of who's fast today and what they are thinking today heading into tonight's race. So if you haven't done it already, you need to go down below, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. You definitely don't want to miss any of that coverage we do today or anything in the future. And while you're down there hitting the subscribe button, why don't you hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video? It's much appreciated when you do that. It really does help us out a ton when you do that. But at that, this has been the ARCA Menard Series Preview Show. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.